Hello. Is this a dagger I see before me, the handle towards my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Yes, I'm having another stab at Andrea Mitchell, famous NBC reporter and literati, who somehow managed to get a Bachelor of Arts degree, certificate and everything, at Pennsylvania University, which I understand is an Ivy League college. Pennsylvania University, you should be ashamed of yourselves. How could you let that happen? She obviously dodged every Shakespeare class that you theoretically said was required. Her excuse was she did more American literature. What? Superman comics? By the way, did you know that Ms. Mitchell endowed a, Centre for the Study of Democracy at Pennsylvania University? According to the blurb, the Andrea Mitchell Centre for the Study of Democracy aims not just to promote, but to understand democracy. I'll bet you that she had to relieve herself of an absolute bundle on that attempt to perpetuate her name in academia, because buying herself a perpetuation of her name is apparently the best she could manage. She's certainly not going to add to our understanding of literature, is she? It seems that Penn U does need all the help it can get educationally, though, seeing as it managed to, as I said, turn out someone of Mitchell's depth of ignorance with a certificate and everything. So here's something I'm going to tell them for free. Now, how about that? A functioning democracy needs an educated electorate. And it doesn't seem to me that Pennsylvania University is doing such a hot job on that at present. So perhaps you should take that obviously useless centre for the study of democracy and turn it into a functioning English department with professors who aren't asleep when their students skate past on their ways to picking up their certificates and everything. Oh, with all the, the nice gold bits on it and stuff like that. Because any university that manages to give a student a BA in English literature without her knowing even the basics of Shakespeare, that's not an English department. It's a nursery for the teenage scions of families who want their kids out of the way in a controlled environment. I might have understood her not recognising a quote from Timon of Athens, but not to recognise Macbeth. Okay, if your education came out of the sort of intellectual deserts that the Democrats have created in the inner city project, then I could understand, I could excuse, I could even pity the poor buggers who shoveled through the state education system in those parts of the United States. But to have gone through Pennsylvania University at vast expense and not to have known a simple quote from Macbeth, or even to have known that Faulkner was quoting Shakespeare. Inexcusable. Even if you're, as she said, I obviously took far more American literature. Well, even if that was the case, why were you not made aware of what that title meant, Sound and Fury, where it came from? So even the ones who were ostensibly teaching you American literature weren't doing their job. Pennsylvania University, this is a massive fail and you should be ashamed of yourselves. I keep saying this, but there's a certain class of American elite who are apparently incapable of shame. But What's even more inexcusable, maybe, even than not knowing your Shakespeare, is racism. Well, that's according to the wokerati anyway. And look, Ms. Mitchell, look, I'm not calling you a racist, far be it from me to lay such a sin at your door. So I'm not calling you a racist, just in case you think that my next question might be implying that. But I'm merely pointing out that you're a reporter. Yeah, that's what you call yourself. A reporter usually checks sources before making a complete arse of themselves, don't they? So I want to ask you this. Why didn't you think to check Ted Cruz's reference to Sound and Fury? Just to confirm what you already knew or whatever. Why didn't it occur to you just to look that up before you blasted off that tweet about it, ascribing the quote to Faulkner, not Shakespeare? Now, it's sort of obvious that you were making the assumption that Ted Cruz was an ignorant yahoo. Yeah? Why didn't you check? Again, just asking. You see, because it did cross my mind, and possibly I'm being very churlish here, but it did cross my mind that you thought Senator Cruz didn't know his stuff because he's, well, slightly Southern heritage, maybe? Did that cross your mind? So, I mean, if it did, then why should you check? Because obviously this guy, I believe he went to Princeton, but that doesn't mean anything in the universe of the wokerati, does it? It's not where you went to school. It's what your origins are. And that defines your entire life. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that you think that. I'm just pointing to a generality. Because, you see, you didn't check. You didn't check because you knew better than him. Why did you think you knew better than him? So anyway, it was just a question. I mean, if you'd like to answer that, I'd be very happy to hear your answer. Meanwhile, I shall finish with a quote. Wert thou were clean enough to spit upon. That was from Timon of Athens, by the way, just so you know. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.